Hey guys, today we are getting into real issues around construction, the messy, ecological, on ground realities that don't fit neatly into the buzzword. In fact, we even question whether the word sustainability makes sense anymore.
That is should not be the word sustain should not be there because it's different for different people. Somebody who's much richer than us probably thinks that is the life they have to sustain, and somebody poorer, that's the life. So what is the median?
Also, she's my professor, so stay still till the end. It might get personal. Let's get into it then.
So you were talking about how one person has to be in business and one person can take care of, like, say, city or like give back to the city. Why is that? And how was that?
No. See, I started in 91 and by 2000 it was quite established. By let's say 2008, it was really well established. We have about 35 people in the office. Hey, okay. So it's not that easy to say, okay, I'm not doing it and I'll come in myself to the public. That we do small stuff, not the large one. Like my husband does. So he comments a lot about the water and the city. Yeah. In fact, more regional and a bit to the national also. So he has a time, and one should be able to give him that time. Yeah. And space for to be able to do. And I enjoy the practice. I enjoy coming to the office, meeting people, and a bit of academics here and there. But I enjoy the yeah. And we do about like 50 projects. So imagine 50 projects means any project, let's say about 100 people. So it's also 5,000 people who are employed who need to be given employment again. Yeah, so you know, as projects get over, say people go. So all that purpose,
So taking care of the
time and stamina for it.
right. You're taking care of them, but also giving guidance because the kind of practice you run, it's not like you can just tell build a wall and that's about it. You tell them how to build it.
Yeah, so it's
But now I think you were quite established at this.
yeah, now it's quite established. Plus, also, it's not one way that we have to teach. You'd also learn from the locals too, because it's not only in Bangalore and the same practice. So we have projects all over India. And sometimes we have to learn what's happening locally in that case. It's a natural privilege. What can they do? What skill do they have that they can do?
Right. I think one question I had in this, ma'am, is how much is it important for us to research? Give time for like just sitting there, understanding material, understanding the environment, understanding people, and then telling, like looking at the client to tell you, okay, we have a timeline and the budget to take care of. Yeah.
So it's uh, as a profession, it's 24 bar 7 profession. You're thinking about it all the time. And architecture is not something like you just do 1 minute. You have to get so many things to come together. So it's a research, ongoing research every time. And one is great that there's this technology now where you can search much more easily than earlier. It's a 24 bar 7 research and production.
Just to mention it on camera, I remember back in college, one time I think I was on leave for 1 month because some sports I was also representing university. And you were like, Marbi, you have to come to college. When you're doing architecture, you have to think about architecture all the time. And I remember that line, and I was about to mention that at some point, but it just mentioned. And I think it's so important for people like you to keep telling us because at that point we don't review what we're getting into. Later, when we got into, I think all of us understood like how much you have to think about it. I know we have nightmares also. I don't know if you have. Sometimes I'm like, the Sibyl doesn't go right, with the British just fall off, and there's nightmares. You're constantly thinking about one single project when you're in it. That makes sense, 100%. A lot of people also want to understand how did you also have a business with architecture, because a lot of time we miss out the money bit of it. We don't get enough or the right amount. I'm not saying it billionaire or billionaire, but You need to have balance. Like, you have to live your life as well. How do you do that?
Yeah, so this is not the first time I'm being asked, especially by young people. They ask this. What I say is that what is it that you want from life? First, identify that. And I know we all get carried away when we see somebody else. Now, our neighbor's son is doing so well, and I'm not doing it, and something like that you will feel. But what is it that you want from life is something very important to consider. And as such, what do you want? You need decent needs. You need a roof over your head. For me, most important is that one needs to have people with whom you can talk and something to read and be able to, okay, travel. And you don't have to travel and be in 5 stars or any of it. You can, even if you travel from here to Tiptur, say, what is it, a month, it opens up your mind. So that traveling, you're able to see, having good health is most important. We can do a lot. But architecture is not something that you start making money as soon as you start, unless you are compromising yourself. Okay, you can compromise, you can take money from every vendor and every contractor, and you'll have money. Architecture is not easy. It takes 15 years at least to establish oneself. Once you establish and be blown, you get decent income. And the first thing again, I repeat, is how much do you want? And why? And question that, and let that life will be much more easier.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are comfortable from their background, as in when they have money, it's quite easier for them, usually. But there's one thing, map, like in internships and stuff, when they don't get paid. Are you okay with that when, like, say, if I'm interning, let's see, and people pay 2,000 or 2,500, 5,000? Is that okay?
To be very fair, it's an internship, okay? And it's part of education. Yeah. Why is the college? Why don't you ask, why is your institute? Fees for a time and they looked, okay. Yes, we would pay, and we pay. We pay, I think, right now we're paying 8,000 or 6,000. I get confused. I think that much. And they have their lunch and snacks also here, but we pay. It's not huge amount, that's for sure. But look at it from the office side. Do you know every seat costs us how much? In terms of software, table, electricity, everything, it comes to about 15,000 rupees. Right. And then you're interning. So you're, and we get 5 interns a semester. We can say 2 to 3 are good, 50% or 50% don't know. And unfortunately, when you come to an office, you need to know skills. And that is not being taught. So academic has to really look at it that till the internship period, skills are taught. And after the internship, thought has to be. This is 3 or 2 years like that you guys have to work very well. Because then you know the skill, you come here. Here we are ending up teaching skills and they don't learn the specificities of the office work.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to be.
No, you're actually absolutely correct, because I learned architecture in my first internship because we started drafting and all of that. And whatever AutoCAD or whatever tools we knew, I don't think we knew anything for like practice at all, which is not fair to the people we are going to intern with. Neither is it fair to us, because that's what our uni should be teaching us, right?
We have here, we only use Autodesk Revit, and we now tell the colleges if they don't know Revit, they should not come to our office because they'll be lost.
Yeah.
We cannot give that much care to them.
Right.
Because to be sitting and teaching you Revit is not something we office would like to spend time.
Okay.
So why isn't It's like media doesn't ask the government and ask the opposition parties. No, you people are like that. We should ask your. Why are you not asking your academy?
No, definitely. I think academia needs to up their game.
No, for sure. I would say that you people should go and interview and say, why are you?
Yeah, I hope people watch this and actually do something of. I remember when I was doing my master's, ma'am, it was more of like all of us being professionals coming together and researching on something, and I loved it. But here it was always like a student and a teacher, like teacher being somewhere high on something still, and student knowing nothing. And that's how we became at the end. We knew nothing when we got out also. But there it was like you have to take your own like onus or like whatever you're learning, you have to come show up. I will not tell you you have to come show up or like attendance and this and that. Didn't matter. I really like that kind of environment where I can sit with a teacher and tell, okay, I have researched this and this part, and then you can also give guidance or like tell me we can research together, get to a point where we have actually found something here to pay.
You may edit this, but we did that at Impact with you guys. How many of you ever turned up in your class?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did turn up. And Sharath and I had these sessions where we were showing. Remember the quiz we used to have? This picture, what is the structure? None of it. Because our Indian students are so used to getting spoon-fed till the 12th standard. You don't learn at all. You people, late students are extremely immature. Yeah. No, they're extremely immature. And they take it like that. And sure, the institutes have to allow you to pass.
Yeah.
Okay? That's also because they want to show 100% whatever.
And which is what does it help?
Yes, does the profession. So you come out in front. Yes, some of you get a chance to go out and you understand and you learn this bit. Some don't, and they come out and like very bad buildings because that's what they know.
Yeah.
And we struggled over there to teach.
I was thinking about like how we were talking about we need to do so much of research when even if you're shifting from here to say Andhra Pradesh or anywhere else, the clay changes, the temperature changes. It'll be so nice if all the academias were on point and they were doing so much research that you can just go and collaborate with them and do something. That'd be the most.
Madhvi, I asked you to go to the Site Museum. I asked you to go to Vishweshwara Science Museum, go to ISC. I remember your project. We had to all these places and see what's happening, how I it. There was it all coming, your drawings.
Yeah.
I remember drawing it on you.
Yes.
I remember your project pretty well. And you were one of the smarter ones in the class. But still, it's not your fault. It's the society's fault also. Because it has mollycoddled you. You know that you will anyways pass. And that becomes, okay, I can still do it. But when you go abroad, you're really wondered how you stand with the rest.
100%.
And there, you work hard.
Yes.
So that's not given to students. I'm not saying that you have to be failed, but somehow, somewhere along the line, this should happen that, yes, you have to perform. You have to be. You feel that your peer says, yes, you did something good.
Yeah.
And that's not happening.
I think also we don't take responsibility at all. Especially in academia in India, we don't care about like what we're gonna put out is gonna impact such big, like the environment itself. And we're like, okay, we'll make whatever, and the designs and the triangles and the flowy design. But what isn't impacting was never the question asked, at least by us in college at all. And I think all of that 5 years happened in 2 years of masters. It's like all the questions were.
What one is now saying is that if you want to practice, okay, why should you do a master's? Your undergraduate should give you confidence enough to practice. There's no need to do masters. Masters is a more research-based stuff, which is very good for academic sets. And also that masters, if you do after you've had some experience, would have been better. But why are students going for masters? Is the question.
Yeah, because the education is not fulfilling any to
Many of the colleges, it's not fulfilling. It's not giving you this thing. I have to get out at work and show that as my forte.
Yeah. Do you enjoy academia at this point where you go to colleges? Or when did you actually enjoy last?
Oh, to just last semester, I took it set. Enjoy going there. There is a lot more freedom and even accessibility to others to discuss as well as read. It's great like it be and stuff. Yeah. And I just had 9 students. We could engage.
Is there something you researched about which you actually liked, which you came up with in this?
So I've been always working with students on ecology. How do you design architecture with ecology in mind? So one is doing is that.
Why do you keep running away from the word sustainability? I had to bring it up. Sorry.
The sustainability is like a shifting goalpost. What is sustain? That what is now? I live like that. Now, right now, if I'm going to live like that, different, I need 6 earths to sustain this life. So that's why it's not right. It should not be the word sustain, should not be there, because it's different for different people. Somebody who is much richer than us probably thinks that is the life they have to sustain. And somebody poorer, that's the life. So what is the median?
Yeah.
And that is in terms of you get calorific value, you get good place to live, decent clothes, like that, Vatika Brahmaka sort of thing. But now 2 dimensions added, clean air and clean water.
Have you heard about this carbon credit now?
Yeah, so everything gets monetized and that's part of the system, but maybe that's the way you'd have some more of what you call ecological things happening, biodiversity, medwayne, and stuff like that. So these are negotiations when as to somehow create a scenario where, yeah, you feel good in planting trees and you plant trees.
Because at the end it's profiting you with like some sort of money. Otherwise, we are not able to relate how it's impacting us.
It's a carrot and stick policy. Modi, all this, everything would be great hunky dory if we didn't have so much of military in the whole world. That's the maximum polluted, the kind of industries which it continues and what it does as a result. We could just live the way we are living. Only our war machinery is zero. It will be just great. And the kind of food we are eating. Those two impact hugely our environment.
So wherever we talk about architecture, ma'am, like for us, we understand everything's interconnected because this is what we've been talking about for our whole lives now. But if a non-architect person thinks about this, now we're talking about, say, a building, but we're talking about the land, we're talking about the environment. And you always talk about this like it's an emotion, it's like a what do you say, like a relationship of the building with everything around us. Why do we talk about things like this?
Yes, it's the future is that. No? If I just build a building and then it's going to be like a parasite, because you're part of an ecosystem, is it? Like Nina Chandawaka says, human ecosystem, yeah, overseas. So when it is like that, I'm taking air, I'm taking water. What am I giving out? My building. What should we give out? And how should it? So buildings are like nests. The birds also live or the burrows. They don't spoil them. Why should we do it? It's everything and everyone.
Yeah.
So it has to be that way.
But whenever this comes, question of like they saying sustainability, but like if you are telling eco-conscious, it becomes, is it like extremely expensive? Can people not afford this? Like usually this is what it comes in my mind, right? There's people who are doing, I think you've also mentioned in a lot of your talks that, okay, if I'm making another farmhouse is when I do something where I can put money for making something sustainable or eco-friendly. But is it that expensive that you can't afford it?
No, it's not. It's not. But what it requires is skill with both the architects as well as the people who are going to. But it's not expensive. Our BIOS philosophy has always been that it should not be more expensive than the conventional. Conventional, well designed. And also you have to compare up to up. You can't compare what a Mistri does it, and that will be cheap. But when you come to an architect, it's like going to a tailor. So you can buy from a ready-made, but also you go to a tailor. Then you start asking things to fit to your lifestyle, fit to your aspiration, fit to your likings and everything. So once that happens, that means that it will be more expensive than what you're buying ready-made. So that difference aside, it's not more expensive. It need not take more time too. It can be done same amount or even lesser. It can be done. But it requires work earlier. That how do you design, how do you top, and then how do you... So that the time you have to spend in designing, that's most important. That's what we talk to clients. Spend time in designing, discuss, so that when you're building, it doesn't change.
You also choose your clients, no? Is there like a sort of some questionnaire you get it filled? Oh, I've heard about this hour.
We don't choose.
So you give us any kind of clients coming in.
We want any kind of clients, and it's not any kind. People who know what Biome does, that's coming. So, in fact, we don't choose, they have chosen us. So, I think that respect one has to give because they have chosen. And then there is negotiation and conversation. Is you're not designing for yourself. That's one thing which you have to be very clear about. You're not taking a piece of wood and sculpting. You have somebody else's thoughts and you have your thoughts and you bring it all together. So it's a very different act, and that act requires conversation, negotiation, and empathy, because the people will have their own peculiarities, and it's nice to work together, to be able to give that.
How do you give for these conversations?
So now, sometimes it goes on for 6 months, 1 year, and there are years before the building starts. Oh wow! But that's okay because you're going to stay there.
But is it actually very enjoyable period where you're doing this, or is it hectic?
Architecture is not easy. It's a catharsis. So it's like you die every time. Yeah.
Right. So how many times you think if you were to give a like percentage of like saying yes to the client or like saying yes to your research, like, okay, we are going to go with this, or saying just say, okay, client has said this, we'll go forward with this.
So it's again very difficult to say yes or no. In each project, let's say there is one house, you might just say, okay, I'll compromise on the bathrooms, but I'm not compromising on the external features. I'm not going to compromise on material and water and those things. But I'll compromise on Vastu because that's a very important emotional aspect. And I can't say no to it because if anything else happens, they're going to be puppet. Is it because of that? And why should one?
What is your take on Vastu?
Scientifically, it's not something which is correct. It's right in some place, like, yeah, some size, if you put it a certain space, like kitchen in Southeast means there's light all the time and stuff. If that is available in the site, it's not available all the time.
But you would that to also educate the client about these things.
We try, but if they're very insistent on it, we have to be them more creative. And that's what you are an architect for. You're not an architect because you want to change the other person. Then it's a very easy job.
Then the same stencil you're putting everywhere.
Yeah, we can easily.
Fair house. That makes sense. Uh, if I had like a constrained budget, and if I were to take care of, say, comfort, resilience, water, how I'm using, and say material choices, where should I be putting? Like, which should be the most important criteria I should be looking at?
Material justice.
Okay.
Comfort, you need resilience, you need water and other things. So that you have to spend. Materials, because luckily we have plethora of materials. So you can insist and reduce costs there.
Which material would you suggest?
There are different materials. So like let's say flooring. Cretan is perfectly fine. Works very well in Bangalore. So first I would say just cement. Because anything you put, any material you put on the floor, you have to put cement first. So let's just do cement. That would be the first choice. Because it also comes from the schema that we want to use very less materials within a set, or very less variety of materials.
Yeah.
More than very less materials, very less variety.
Why do you say that?
Because you create more waste. If you print are different materials, that means that many different waste develops back.
So, but once you use it, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah, waste happens. No? So if I put the same floor everywhere, so somewhere smaller space also I can use smaller pieces or something. Whereas if you're going to use one here, one there, you cannot bring exact. So then you have waste of different kinds which can't be used anywhere. So we would prefer to tell people like that, and if possible, use materials where skills are shown.
Right. So, do you also teach these skills to people, or do you come up with like new types of designs every time, or is it the same skill repeated?
A lot of it is same repeated because, like, if you see this roof or something, it's been almost standardized in our designs. So masons, contractors know market to it. It looks different to you, but for us, it's become the record. People do it all the time. So it's almost conventional for us. But it's available. So we'd like to use. There are new skills we also want to learn. And we talk to the client, see if we want to learn this and can we use your building for learning. And that has to be somewhere conveyed and they accept it. And we have to assure that it is structurally perfect. There's not collapse because we are trying. And that has happened in many of our projects when we tell the clients early on that we're trying a new skill, a new material, but all ecological. That's how people give us. So right now we're using a lot of debris walls. That's demolition. Debris means the earth. So we talk to clients that breaking your house down, where you create debris, we'll use that for construction. You have to take them somewhere and show. Sometimes it's small in the office, but you show them. And what's the seat? There, show them. You do a cube terrace, show them all that. We don't really create architect.
Right. The first one would have been difficult, no? Like now that you have so many samples out there throughout the city and on site, it'd be easier. But like the first one to convince would be difficult too.
Yeah. But like did our own house, so that was where you could try many things with the basement and building with earth and rainwater harvesting, treating the wastewater. Right now we're growing cabbages and cauliflowers on the terrace. So all that in our house, like a lab we've been doing. So people can just come see that what we are seeing, we walk the dog.
Yeah, I remember coming to your house once and you had this WC put as a side table. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, I have never seen anything like this.
Yeah, but you would have seen your so many pots up.
Yeah.
Really pots.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is we categorize things so separately that we can't blur the lines anymore.
right? That's a good way of putting it. Here it's always no hard edges.
Yeah. So with this, I think the next question I want to ask clients, great, like they have money, they can buy, they can construct, they have understood the material. Uh, Now this whole fascination of I should have own a house. How do you comment on that? Like, should everybody be having their own house, making kiki? I think it's been there. My parents have a house. I'll also make a new house, and the next generation makes another house. It's romanticized in a way that if I start earning, I should have my own house. I'm sure my father also is very keen on the answer. What's your thought on that?
No, I think it's important. You have to have a place to come back to after the day. So that's important and is needed. But what kind of a home is now, I think, changing. Also, it depends upon now what kind of a family, what's happening, what's the society offering. Now, if a society is offering care when you're older, yeah, so that your house is no longer needed after a certain age, you could be in a place where the elders are together. But if it's not there, then you need a home. And you need somebody who's going to take care of you later. Okay. Now, in our society in India, parents come and stay with children because they don't have that other care. But then that becomes quite a bit of stress because now both the couple are working and it's difficult to take care, and your children also. So, how does one manage? It's no longer a village which is taking care of the child because the society also hasn't given you that bit where you need not work for 1 year after you have the child.
Yeah.
Is that possible? It's not possibility, yeah, but so there are different circumstances and you might just need a home. But what really would be ideal in this country, in this world, would be that we have possibility of renting at reasonable price. So now, today you are in Bangalore, but tomorrow you ought to go to Lucknow and stay there for 1 or 2 years. You should be able to move because you have a little possibility of decent living. That is what our governance has to give. Right? And it has to make the young people able to move from place to place before they set their rates.
Yeah.
Then we also have much better education in the country.
Right. I think this goes back to the real estate question. You were discussing how real estate is so expensive at this point that nobody, I don't think people who have money also can afford a lot of stuff at this point. And you have to get it to, I don't know, at 50s, 60s is when probably I can afford a house at this point. How real estate has boomed, at least in Bangalore. I can say that. How should that be balanced now? And you had a really good answer for it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying all the time is that there should be a minimum guarantee land purpose. And we worked on it with Bangalore's context, and you need about 40 square meter per person. And that would give you enough water for your lifeline needs. That would give you material to build that 40 square meter with your home. And to give you can grow food, you can treat your waste. That much. And if you do 40 square meter per person and take on the whole world, 8 billion.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much space it would require?
Not sure.
Let's say half of Madhya Pradesh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we'll have enough forests.
Oh my God.
But then, for our living, we need lots of things and stuff, which for our doors and windows. So we have enough space for industries, for manufacturing, for biodiversity, for trees, for forests, everything. It's possible.
Right. I mean, the whole idea, at least in my head or our heads, is that there's no more land left. And how will we survive? It's only like with so much money we have to put down right now. Otherwise, I'll never have a house. But how you're explaining, it's the opposite. We have ample amount of everything existing. and we can take care of it. This is
It's the supply.
right.
We are constricting the supply so that the real estate can play with it. It's just, if the supply is less,
Yeah,
the demand is high. So you're not meeting up the demand, and it's because you're not supplying. And that's because people have garnered land and kept it, and that they release it will it feels, right? And that should not be allowed. And how was VDA established? It's a beautiful organization. It's a wonderful organization. No part. When VDA was established, you could apply it, get a piece of land, but it was in the family, only you would get it. Your wife cannot buy another land.
get one tap paper.
And your son, when son gets a job at a stake, then he can buy a okay. Not that, so not your father, you stay with your father, can buy Madrisi in the term. So it was just there, just fair, just wonderful.
Yeah.
And it still is supposed to continue like that, but they're not coming out. Wow. So it's a supply, which is not. And then people are parking their money.
Yeah.
In real estate.
Yes. Yeah, it's our investment at this point. I remember.
When will the society be having empathy for younger people? They don't have place to stay. They're suffering. The lot of PGs are horrible.
Yeah. You cannot listen that the people are still there.
Yeah. And that's again not fair. Rent income by the private people is very, what do you call, is very violent. What do? You would luck by chance, you have a plot of land, you have money enough, or you took loan enough and you build this and you take rent. And you're not adding anything to the society. See, from working and contributing to society, working in a, let's say, even as a gardener or as a cook, contributing, contributing to my family. But if you're just going to take rent, you're not contributing. You're just using that luck, and you're taking blood out of somebody else. Whereas if that rent is taken by the city, by the government, and it improves the road, it gives you water, electricity, and stuff, that's better. And if, the rental income should be then taxed very heavily. That's what Germany does. Very high taxes for anybody that. So it's not profitable to be a landlord. But here in India, it's crazy. People are just near land.
To Racer is the most comfortable actually. I've joined.
So where's just that blankets.
Yeah. That's interesting. And I think, ma'am, if you could have gotten this thought of the 40s by way, I'm still booked up to that one thing which is told. I'm sure you would have proposed it to people or told this to bigger governmental bodies.
Is it care? No, I don't think it needs that. I have to say it's a common knowledge.
Okay.
Well, yeah. The main countries which are not doing this, it's all there. But our society is not yet ready to change. It's a beautiful caste and patriarchy and religious divide society, which is right now for shit too. Because you have the resource constraints, or how much I can keep for myself, that food thing. The society, and it doesn't talk about sharing at all. Sharing enough. Or share. Where do we share?
I want your comment on this one thing which I was mentioning before also. Viranandani was saying that, I can clean slums and I can build these beautiful buildings and they can stay in these beautiful buildings. Does this actually happen on site? Because there are a lot of contractors who say stuff like these, right? But you know the ground reality of what actually ends up happening. We were talking about Mokoko also. What actually happens?
If we've had so many, what do you call, disasters of this kind, and if we're not going to learn from that, Fruitigo in US and forget the one in Amsterdam, in India. Slums are slum redevelopment hasn't really helped the people. See it in Bangalore itself, so many of them are empty. Ijipura and other places are empty. Why? Because first of all, yeah, probably a famous developer would build it better, but will that really happen? Will the quality of air, light better? Slum redevelopment in Mumbai, the rooms are 5 to 10 degrees higher in temperature than outside. They're dying because of bad air quality. So they have all sorts of diseases. And they are spending much more.
Okay.
They spend much more in putting the AC into their homes. Can you believe they have to have ACs?
Yeah.
And they,
So the financial sustenance doesn't happen. They end up renting it at the end.
yeah, that also, they rent it. But why should we say that you cannot rent?
Yeah.
If you're ready to suffer in hygienic circumstances but have a little more money, then they should be allowed to rent.
Yeah, it's for faster because you're giving them the property. Why is the question?
Yeah. Yeah, why are you questioning their life?
So you're just bossing, saying you have to do this because you can actually control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So nobody says all of this. Then I go on this utopia of like beautiful houses, urban builds, the beautiful buildings, just because they're tall, they're nice.
Yeah. But how do you live in that tall and nice buildings? If your lift doesn't work, when they're still in the slum, the ground level, they can move. You see the Gothams in Mumbai are beautiful. Really small, but you have ground spaces, and in fact, that's so much more quieter and better because you don't have cars and anything going.
Yeah.
Children can play.
Yeah, children can play. There's like proper area for like people to come out and socialize. A community, the socialization happens there. If you see these buildings, no one's talking to the neighbors. No one knows who's the neighbors.
About children at all,
No one. Yeah, right now because government has said that okay, you have to give 40% of or let's say 60% of land to landscaping. So is landscaping happening. Otherwise, they will take all the boundaries and blast it a little bit outside and create all these, I think, balconies outside of the land, right? I mean, I remember doing this one project when you were creating like an automation tool, so that if you give a land parcel, it should automatically create how much because everything is math at this point, and they want to exceed. So there is no requirement of an architect sitting there and making the building.
Well, the architects in those places, architects are accountants.
Exactly. Yeah, they're calculating how much per square feet money can be made.
Yeah, how much? Yeah, how do you work the affair the best?
Yeah, exactly. So that can be done by a computational tool which can give you 3 different ideas and then you can select one from it and it's done. Why are we sitting there on top of it? Yeah, there are a lot of questions that we are doing this project, but you're like, it's better to automate than to sit like, make an architect sit there, do that sort of job. I think I've covered a lot, but I think I'm going to ask more questions. And this one conversation I was having with my former business partner that we romanticize the past a lot, like the temples, and I have done that in my projects. I've done that, or like still if I see like a matka pot, I'll be like, oh, this is so beautiful because it was done like in old ages. Shouldn't we holding on to the romanticizing bit of it for too long, or should we start looking at the technicalities?
So I think, Aline, like I say, is that we have to navigate both. Past is important. A lot of learning from past is. Yes, we should love our old temples or churches and that stuff because you're learning structures. You're learning decoration. It's just beautiful. And why are we making such buildings which have absolutely no decoration, nothing, and makes a lot of sense. But to say that was great and nothing good is happening now is not fair. Because what do we see of Hampi mostly? What's left?
A lot of ruins, temples,
The palace and bathhouse, the
Yeah.
elephant stables. It's beautiful. And as a city, and you have
There were not the cities still like.
yeah, Kalyan is it. But there are no homes.
Yeah.
Homes were made with materials with clumps and mud and thatch and now you're much better homes. So we can keep saying this was great, but you're anybody, almost everybody will have a need in a phone. And my auto rickshaw guy also has a phone. Then the electricity and basic conveniences inside for the wife. So so it's so much better for many people nowadays. Compared to past. Compared to past, especially in terms of India, if you're in the city, you're not riddled with you can't drink water here and stuff like that. At least in South India, it doesn't happen. So the caste is covered. We are riddled with right now religious, but that is gone. So it's much more, architecture has become much more democratic. And when it becomes much more democratic, yes, there will be bad architecture coming. Okay, because everybody is going to express, and everybody will not express in poems. They will just express, some people dyslexic and cannot express properly. Then it happened. So that's okay, but it is everybody.
But there's no balance from good to bad, That's why the DAC is happy to you.
This good decided by who? That's what's true. Because right now in architecture, the aesthetic eye is decided by festivals, Barcelona. But if you really see all buildings, if you have to meet like that, which are very clean and neat, many of the people, the Indians, is sitting outside feeling very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why do we have to make ourselves uncomfortable? Because the architect thinks that's the way it is. Nice. So this good and bad is also very subject.
And so when I was saying good and bad, I talked about good architects and bad architects who are coming out of colleges also. Because it's a very big fair.
So what are we going to teach us good architecture? What should we teach? That's a question back to you. What would you that is effort that you were given?
I think not because you're sitting here, but I would have preferred learning about the ecosystem more, the materials more. And basically, the tech had to be taught like it shouldn't be like, okay, one small class of this and one small class ecology, or there had to be balance of this. And these should take most of our times to think about what I'm putting out there. Why is it important for me to put something out there? And design the aesthetics could have come a little later. I don't think I would mind that. But what we were taught mostly is how curves can be created in triangles and rectangles and dancing and patterns and poetry and who's useless. But again, I'm not going to write a poem about this, And the language of talking, like, if I can't create something, then what is the point of me knowing all the big words? That's what they taught. If I can't write today, then what's the point of me knowing the biggest word in this whole world? So I think that's where it lacked, at least for me personally. That's what I went when I went master. And also for me, the core research was again Earth. But Earth with robotic fabrication and like how I could elevate, how I can make it faster, how I can make it also look nice at the end. Like it shouldn't not look nice. But I think that's where the compact knowledge of like both should have been there. Like the first 2 years should have been like very strongly connecting back to nature, understanding how everything works, the science and the physics and probably it is my perception, and tech also in the first week. And then you start creating. Then we go crazy with our thoughts. I don't mind. The base was not there. From the day one, it was there, oh, create something.
Yeah.
But then how do I create something? I remember like there was one bus project, the first concept, and we went crazy about it, but we knew nothing. How does gravity work? As simple as that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so if we can teach those things, you can say a certain room requires that much light. You say, okay, sir, it's quite nice to have certain shadows and there's a little Japanese article on shadows or something where you keep on talking these things while you're learning skills, but we're not teaching that. And I think it's nice that right now we have started questioning our education. I think it's nice that many of you now you're questioning, and hopefully things will improve.
Yeah. And what do you think, like the part of collaboration? Because I think for now, for us, because I don't know if it is the exposure or we were taught, collaborations become key. But before it was a star architect and like one person running the show and everybody's just like behind them and doing whatever they have to.
It never happens in any office. But that one person show, it cannot be also so right now derided by really again. You see that it doesn't happen that easy. So just let's take my own example. I don't know many of us. He started. It's not that it was easy for us that we are in this stage that just came up. I used to work with my kid, but 11 o'clock he sleeps, I 11 to 3, I do my drawings, and that was drafting drawings. And then I go off to the site and give it. And so one does establish a huge foundation. So that one person has established the foundation for the thing to stay. Now, right now, the one person is sitting on the terrace and it looks like everybody below. Without the foundation, it couldn't have, the terrace wouldn't have formed. Okay? So that's important. And but that one person's taken a lot of flack. Lots of real, crying out when you didn't get the building or didn't win the competition or any of that. All that has happened to come to this level. If what's required is that the office is a cooperative bit. As we start getting larger projects or something, it goes beyond one person. It becomes a cooperative project. It should be more of a boutique or a private limited, so that everybody is responsible for it. It's not just the architect. Right now, what's happening is that just that name is responsible. The rest of them can do anything, and then you don't have any. You don't take the initiative. You don't have any responsibilities. You don't have any accountability. And if it becomes where it's a private limited, it's more of a shareholding, then everybody has that possibility. And for that, you have to contribute.
Right.
But you cannot be asking for the stuff without contributing.
Right.
So one has to understand, when you are part of a team, you're part of a team. If you take accountability, then you get the rewards. You cannot be asking for stuff without taking accountability.
I think this also was not taught, or like I don't know if we are not that kind of people or Indian.
Because we don't be taught by practitioners.
Oh yeah, that's a huge deal, because all of these, I don't want to say who have failed, but people who have not practiced are teaching us. It makes a lot of difference.
It should be a balance. It's nothing against pure academics, because they're needed. Because they are researching it, thinking thoughts of, there should be a balance. But right now, the kind of requirement needed and kind of compensation which comes to an architect who's practicing, you don't see that balance.
What's needed is that balance, ma'am. First of all, nor are academic teachers also doing a lot of research, at least like the colleges we came from. Sorry to say, but like, who was doing research? And who did research to teach? Like, sure, you're teaching. Like, now I'm questioning that type. Of course, I had nothing to question. But that's not there at all. And you shouldn't even be allowed to start these kind of colleges, because like you're gonna, I don't know, 5 years.
I think what's happening, Matri, is that to balance the fees and get the people, it's getting difficult.
Yeah.
I've been seeing the fees of colleges going so much higher. How do you? Then who comes?
Yeah.
Then the people from a very, very society.
Yeah, I can't take.
So it doesn't become accessible to all.
Okay.
There will be young people interested in architecture. Like when we were studying, we were a lot from great families in terms of money, but it was so much cheaper. It was possible. And now it's going to be very difficult. If you want to go to a school where all these things are available, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And that should not be the case. Again, education should not become a private. And
100%. Because when I studied, it was for 40,000 per year because CD. Otherwise, it's I don't know, 1.5, 2 lakhs. I don't even.
in impact.
Yes. Imagine a college like Impact. Then you think about these bigger colleges. It's, I think, 3 to 4 lakhs now. And 3 to 4 lakhs per year we are talking about. Yeah. So 20 lakhs, 20 lakhs, you can go abroad, study, come back.
Is it?
Fairly. Like if you invest a little bit more, see, masters you can do and come back. So you, that's what, as you're out of college, then you do masters. That's what is yeah, that's what you have to compensate for. But then if you're going to a good college, then again like 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, it's minimum.
Yeah,
That's not a fair number at all.
that's why again, education cannot be taken. It's a birthright.
Yeah.
Materials, land, everything.
When people like you tell is when we understand it's a birthright. Right now, it doesn't seem like birthright at all. It's like we have to pay for like land is not birthright at all. Water, no, you have to earn it. Everything needs to be earned. But when water is supposed to be empty for everyone. Yeah. What's that about? I have one last very cliche question when I landed. Female in architecture. Like us, like you were there and you're talking about the BE taking care of PV and then going aside there doing all of this. Some people have also felt that on site not many people listen to them. You have to be very strict, and when you become strict, you become bossy, and all of those things. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay for you. The impression you give is bossy, it's okay. As long as you know what you're talking about, yeah, there will be some resistance. Difficult in our patriarchal society that there will be resistance for women, but we have to keep at it. I mean, it's crazy, but that's how it is. Yeah,
Have you fixed
yeah. Even now,
even now?
it's like somebody came home and we were going out, Rishmanath and I, and he kept talking to Rishmanath and on architecture, see, and she just getting, she's the one. They don't realize that it's the overlord's office. Yeah, just something happened in the office and we have to go to the police station, our own local police station. I want to put this about. And we are complained, and the inspector, who's supposed to be educated person, she just said, none of you need to come. This was Sharad, Anurag, myself, and Krishnati. And report it. Just let him come. We saw Vishnu, taller, pure, thing, older. And Auratra Matra Matra. I'll just talk to him. And I had to just say, no, it's my business which I impacted, and I will be there. And Vishnu just said, yes, she has to come. So this is so ingrained in the society.
Yeah.
They don't even think that women would have a business.
Yeah, and imagine like you've practiced, you are in practice, people know you, and then you're facing this.
Yeah.
I've heard that people my age, girls are going to site and like taking care of everything. Masons don't look at them at all. Masons. They don't look at them at all. Unless there's a contractor like somebody else who's like taking chemistry, taking care. They listen to him rather than the architect coming in the scene. And it's just bizarre when you look at it.
But you have to be at it.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. So we have to put a 30% more energy.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Yeah. As like we have to, because we have to be, also we have to be perfect all the time, right? You cannot be wrong. I don't think we get that leverage.
Imagine the amount of perfection which is required from us. We have to not only perfect in getting it executed, perfect in design, perfect there in the site, and we have to look also perfect.
Yeah, like you look perfect, talk perfect, walk perfect. Because anything goes wrong is your mistake.
Yeah.
You messed up because you're a woman. And you have to dress up like properly because then I should not go on you or the work. But you can never always be flowing with your thoughts only. Right? It has to be box. I mean, it's there. It just, I'm not saying it's a negative thing, but it's there.
It is negative, just very negative, but I think it's just the persistence we have to do. Like I said, 20% both the books.
I'm saying not negative because now we're getting used to it. It's just around us. It's not how it should have been. Like how we were talking about land, water, and everything else. This should have been as normal as that. But it's not.
It's getting better.
As if the thing is, I see both the sides, ma'am. It's getting better at one end, and like in offices, yes, sure, because men know that you can't now behave like how you used to. But if you put aside because they're not educated, they're still there. And yes, if you keep showing up all the time, yes, their mentality also starts to change. Then you have to put that extra effort to change. And then you become boss.
That's okay. I think that's okay. But yes, yeah, because it's a design you want. So it's your thought. Correct. So you cannot be not bossy.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think this is a good note to end on. It should be bossy that it's needed or otherwise. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you made it till here, my friend, you're officially scaling with us. Drop a comment. What did you like? What kind of design, conversation do you want more of? More tech, more ecology, more creative chaos. We are constantly iterating, so your feedback is basically our next prototype. And tell us if we should, what we should talk about next. Let's co-design T-Scales. I'm your host, Madhvi. Until next time. And tell us who you should. Okay. Sorry. And tell us who we should talk to next. Let's go design T-Scales together. I'm your host, Madhvi. Until next iteration. See ya. ये चल रहा था ना